So here we are in the forest of Sumatra. Richard Attenborough is doing something completely and utterly extraordinary. We are searching and we are searching because this is the natural habitat of a very special human being. What have we found here?
I've been searching for so many years just to find this. This is a leaf that I've been trying to find in a lot of Pinot Meunier based champagnes, and I knew that I will find it here in the only place in Sumatra where you can get it. And you can only get it 2 days in a year when the rainforest is as cold as Sweden. So I found it here. It's exactly the same nose. It's this orange blossom richness combined with certain cloying fat, almost over-exaggerated butteriness of a coconut that is over-matured. You will only obtain that in Sumatra. So join me around the corner to get a more serious place to taste one of these kind of champagnes. Yeah.
But Jules, I have a question. Why do you have the same coat as if you would do this in Trafalgar Square?
I want to see how Lord Nelson would have done it at the same time.
There's always an explanation for everything.
Of course, it must be. So, let's go champagne hiking at Sumatra. Here I'm standing at the shores of Sumatra. No, I'm not, of course. If you like that small introduction, you can go in and look at Jules Richard. Who is that? It's my alter ego, and it's the fun part of my own serious side, because I like to make some jokes about my seriosity in champagne. Champagne is enjoyment, first of all, so the pleasure and the jokes should be close, but when you taste, full concentration. That's what I'm doing here. I'm standing at the shores of the Church Bay, Stockholm again, one of my lovely viewpoints where I like to go when I just want to have a little bit of philosophic meeting with nature and champagne, doing hikings, not so far away from Lake Ekersnäs where we were. But this is actually the sea, it's not a lake. So I brought 2 Blanc de Blancs and 1 Cuvée. 2 of them are single vineyards. And they're not very strictly related, but 3 champagnes I've never tasted before. I try to do that as often as I can. Use champagnes towards the high numbers and knowing more and more about that huge world of champagne where so many things are happening right now. There's an explosion of new single vineyard champagnes. One of them I have in the glass, Uvelin Prat. What is that? Who is that? Never tasted before. But here is a pure vertu, you know, the southern part, the tip of Côte Blanc, the last village of any greatness. Not as great as Rocher, Le Mesnil-sur-Rocher, Avis, Clermont, Chauilly, etc. But very close, the best Premier Cru of the villages in Côte Blanc. And I just put down my nose, and it's very nice. It's very, very nice because I got a lot of the things that probably the most famous of all that to champagne is L'Armandier-Bernier Terre de Vertu. Similarities, definitely. Not as sharp in minerality, but fruit-wise, it's similar. And on top of that, it's very similar to some of the champagnes from Le Mesnil. The ones made from Chatillon. The tangerine, the mandarin notes, which are so obvious there. It's so strong, so that would have been my first guess. This is single vineyard, Le Fouilly, and I haven't tasted yet, but I'm very amazed about the very sophisticated, flirty, almost erotic notes. Passion fruit and mandarin are the 2 most important things. Together with the seagulls, I'm listening to that, and there's an aeroplane somewhere in the sky. Very, very nice. Download the app. Check my tasting library because all the tasting notes will be there. High points. Good one. Really good. The chalkiness is almost Chablis-like. It's this wet wool. It's this very strong minerality, and it's sharp. But with the contrast with the aromatics, which is so lush and beautiful and exotic, passion fruit and mandarin and blossoms. Those are the most important things. Okay, I put it down. Hope the stones will keep it here. You want to look at the bottle, probably. Here it is. Uvelin Prat, Le Foulis, Premier Cru, Vertu, and also this. You like this sample, not for release. That's kind of champagnes I taste. Second one, a more famous producer, also Côte Blanc, Roland Champignon, northern tip, the most northerly of the Grand Crus, Chouilly, and one of the best producers in Chouilly. New wine, the 15 Grand Éclat, only 2 grams of sugar in this one, and which could be a good idea without having tasting it, because 15 is a very tricky vintage for Côte Blanc. Pinot Meuniers are great. They're sometimes better than the Chardonnays, despite the fact that the grape is not even close in quality. Good balance, more butteriness than you normally get from Roland Champignon this early on. But also the thing that I don't like, that I dislike from 15 in Côte Blanc, is that even if they're very well made, you will very often, almost always, obtain a certain appley note of cider apples, mashed apples. Even if you got these citrusy, beautiful notes and terroir and strict and low dosage, you can't wash that part away. That's a sign of the vintage, which is a little bit too over-matured, too hot. Otherwise nice. Buttery vanilla, creme brulee. Yeah. Super balanced, very rich. Roland Champignon is more a light-bodied or a medium-bodied type of producer. This time it's quite big, despite the low dosage. Terroir, beautifully done, great wine, but 15. You can't wash away the apples, and I don't want the apples in the citrusy Blanc de Blancs, personally. Last one, the Sumatra wine, the famous Sumatra wine. It's from the outskirts of Cézanne, a place called, what was the name now? It's so small. It's Talus-Saint-Prix, close to Cézanne, and it's not a Blanc de Blanc, which is normally the case from the villages around there, but it's 1/3 of each of the normal grapes, 2009, and a single vineyard again, Le Grand Nuts, which is their #1 champagne. I already started when I was in Sumatra, which is just in the woods behind, 50 meters away from here. I hope we don't get any bugs or anything that we might have got from this wet forest, this Swedish rainforest. It's really big. It is over exotic. It's fleshy, it's meaty. It's so big that I go, ooh, 2 sips, beautiful, but I don't want to drink much. Super concentrated. Ooh, but too much. Impressive wine, dryness at the finish, but more Meunier in the style. It's only 1/3, but it dominates. And the concentration from the old vines and the intensity from the plot is amazing and good, but lacking elegance and freshness, which is not the case with the sea and the weather and this Champagne Friday. Have a great Friday, my friends. See you next Friday.